Greetings. I'm Evan Swenson. I'm an author and a book publisher. I'm also the developer of Author Masterminds, sponsor of Readers and Writers Book Club. Welcome to Readers and Writers Book Club. You're invited to come along with us. This is the worldwide online general membership meeting of Readers and Writers Book Club, rapidly becoming the book club destination for all readers of good books. Thanks for being here. Today's membership is represented online by Author Mastermind members and other book club members participating on Facebook Live. Once again, welcome to Readers and Writers Book Club. We'll begin today's meeting by becoming better acquainted with each of the authors of the books club members have been reading this past month. Okay, let's meet today's authors and book club members. All right, well, welcome. We'll be talking today with two of the authors. We have Gordon Parker, author of The Empty Mystery, which we've been reading this last month. And also we have Mary Flint, who has the book Red Star, and we've been reading that as well. We are pleased that you're here, and we have a couple other authors too we want to talk about. So welcome, Mary and Gordon. Cil and Valerie, you also welcome, and we'll hear from you later. But let's talk for just a moment with Mary and Gordon about, well, here's the question. Mary, I guess I'll ask you first. How did it feel to you, Mary? You're a young writer. You have one book. You're relatively new. And you've known that there's people out there reading your book and commenting on it and talking about it. Tell us how you feel about that.
It's a little surreal, to be honest. But at the same time, it's kind of cool. Being perfectly honest, it's kind of cool to have people do a double take when I say I'm an author and then tell them I'm 19 right afterwards.
Now, did you have any personal experiences or anything that you could share with us relative to your people talking about your book or you or whatever?
I just, like, a lot of my first readers were close friends, but I got to do a big event here in Corpus Christi, where I live, with a bunch of teenagers who love to read, and I got to be a panelist on a panel. So it felt cool to be somebody was there to see.
Yeah.
Have people ask me questions about writing.
Yeah. Well, we talk about that all the time, Mary, that you are the queen of your genre. So you're royalty. So how does it feel to be royalty?
I know.
Have you ever thought of yourself as that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I have good days.
Yeah, I bet you do. You should. Well, let's ask Gordon. Gordon, let's talk to you for just a minute. You've enjoyed your celebrity status this last month. Talk to us about it. Have you had any experiences that have been close to you that you could share with us?
I have. I've had a few. And the first one was the first time I actually held The Empty Mystery in my hands. That's really a thrill when you see the product of your work. Actually, it's a book. It's out for sale. People are buying it. And then some of the wonderful comments that you get back from people, and especially, of course, as Mary said, a lot of our first readers are usually friends. But then when it expands beyond that, that's when it's really, really exciting. And I've had occasion to look at Amazon when people go in and talk about the book, and you see those wonderful things they say, and they're people you don't know. that's really when it's sort of over the top.
Yeah. My mom says, Gordon, that's like getting money from home without writing. Is that how you feel about it?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Well, let's talk to Cil about that. She's been reading your books, and I know that I think, Cil, you've read Mary's book, but haven't finished Gordon. Am I got that right?
That's correct. I did finish Mary Flint's book, and I really was looking forward to reading a sci-fi type book from a fellow author here who was decades younger than I. I wanted to see what the difference between my thinking and her thinking were, and she thrilled me with her work. I really enjoyed it. I've created another world, and now she's created another world, and I can see that the thought processes were a lot alike. Hers is really action-packed, fast-paced, action-packed, and the ending just blew me out of the water. I had to go back and read it again. I just go, I did not expect that, Mary, and I can't wait to see where you're going with it.
So, Cil, tell us then one place in the book that you can think of where this action-packed, fast-moving stuff occurred. Can you think of something?
There was a contest, and there's space travel to compete in this contest. It went to another planet, supposedly. But I'm having suspicions now after that ending that things are not quite what they may seem to be. But anyway, anyone who really enjoyed the Hunter Games, or what was it, the Hunger Games, would really enjoy that section of the book. And there was another book that I was reminded of by some of the action. I can't think of what it was quite at this moment, but I can see that she is going to be another very well-read writer in her genre, because she's got a great thing going here.
Thank you, Cil. So if you think of that other author and want to compare Mary to that other author.
Yeah, let me think about it for a while. Like I said, there are decades of age between us.
Yeah. Well, just jump in and that. Valerie, let's talk with you for a few moments.
Okay.
What experience did you have this last month?
Well, Cil and I are, I guess, kindred spirits, because I read all of the Empty Mint mystery, and I'm nearing the end. I'm in the last part of Mary Flint's book, Red Star. And I have to agree with Cil. It is action-packed. And Cil, I hope you didn't ruin the ending for me. And, but what just amazed me is that Mary Flint has thought up a whole world with terminology and things that fit in that world, and it is action-packed. It's just an amazing book, and I wish you'd hurry up here so I can get back and finish reading it.
Mary, that book's been out about a year.
Yeah.
And you wrote it. You were how old when you submitted it to the publisher?
I was 16, almost 17.
16, almost 17. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Now, I look back at when I was 16 and 17, and it wasn't writing that I was interested in. However, if Mary Flint would have been around when I was 16 and 17, I may have got interested in writing because I would have been interested in Mary. So, Valerie, you've read Gordon's book, The Empty Mint Mystery. Did you see any recipes in there that interested? Gordon always has recipes in his book.
I know. You can't hardly read his books on an empty stomach, because he's got all this fabulous food he's always talking about. But what I really liked especially about Gordon's book, The Empty Mint Mystery, was the history behind it. I loved the history connected with this great mystery, and more than one plot going on, and fantastic character development. I want to know more about Trent and all the people around him as well, because it's just a well-written book. I really enjoyed it.
That's The Empty Mint Mystery.
Yes.
So, Gordon, tell us about, you started to talk, but you'll have to unmute yourself so we can hear you. Is that all right?
I did. Okay.
You was going to say something, but we didn't hear that. So
I was just going to say thank you for the kind words, Valerie. That's high praise.
So do you have Gordon, do you have a favorite recipe in the Empty Mint Mystery that you?
Well, I haven't put any recipes in the books. I describe meals.
Oh, yes, that's right. Excuse me.
In all of the books, but frankly, I've had so many people ask me about recipes. And then there was the guy who I love telling the story who sent me a message, said, I gained 10 pounds reading your book. I think at some point in time, we ought to think about Trent and Darcy might need to publish a cookbook, because the recipes, I got the recipes, they're all real. I make the food, but I haven't put the recipes in the book. It's just a part of their characters and who they are.
Well, my mama says that your book is supposed to make people hungry.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I do think I've achieved that.
Yeah. So your responsibility is not to feed them, but to make them hungry. So you do that.
When you have two home states, Louisiana, Alaska, who have, in my view, the best food in our country, it's hard not to talk about food.
Hey, thank you, Gordon. Mary, I have a comment over on Facebook Live, and I want to read that because I want you to hear it. Greg says, Red Star is an excellent book, similar in theme, maybe you'll recall this, Cil, similar in theme to Hunter Games and the Divergent trilogies. Mary mixes a great plot with great writing. I would like to see this in a movie format. Well, there you go, Mary. How's that make you feel?
Honored, I guess.
So, Cil, do you recognize those other titles? Hunger Games?
I did read the Divergent trilogy, and that is the other books that I was reminded of when I read Mary Flint's Red Star. I also wanted to make a comment about Gordon's book, because Gordon and I we both share Louisiana and Alaska as our states. We're both born in Louisiana. We both lived in Alaska our adult lives. And I agree with Valerie totally about how the characters in his book are so great and well developed. And the food recipes make you want to just go try it all and eat. And coming from Louisiana, one of the things I really enjoyed about Gordon's book was the way people in Louisiana think, their attitude about driving, about drinking, about carrying guns, all of that was in there. And it's like living the past again. I mean, I really enjoyed how authentic it was in conveying Louisiana's culture and places.
So you actually were able to go back home and walk the land, as it were, by reading Gordon's book.
I felt like I went home on a visit. And I've got a little bit left. I can't wait to finish it.
Okay, well, thanks, Cil. And that was not the Hunter Games, the Divergent trilogies.
Yeah.
Comparing, okay. All right. So, Valerie, have you got any questions that you'd like to ask either Mary or Gordon? This is your chance to talk to the king and queen of their genre. And so folks back home probably have the same question. So it'll be a good chance for you to do that.
What I want to ask Mary is, what was your inspiration for writing Red Star, and how long did it take you to write it?
I guess the original inspiration came from just, I like to draw a lot, and I started trying to come up with my own characters. And I'd had an idea for a story in my head for a very long time, years and years and years. And I'd just slowly been letting it kind of develop on its own and trying to draw the characters, but not being able to capture exactly what I wanted. And then one of my older brothers started trying to write his own story, and he inspired me because neither of us have had any like formal writing education aside from, grammar, all that, but we both love to read. And so we both made Facebook groups to share our stories with the family. And before I knew it, I had written out this whole story in my head.
Wow.
So your little brother was the inspiration, is that?
Older brother.
Older brother. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So any question, any other thing, Valerie, you'd like to say? We're going to be talking to you again in a few minutes about your book, by the way.
Well, I want to ask Gordon, the Empty Mint mystery really has a basis in actual history. So what made you think about, writing a novel around that historical event?
Well, you're right. It does come from an actual historical event. And sometime many years ago, back in the 80s, I've always liked to read history, and especially about that era in history, the war between the states. And I had a book that was made up of diary entries and letters. And there was reference in a letter from a young lady that her brother had been assigned to get the gold out of the New Orleans Mint before the Federals retook the city. And at the time, we didn't have Google, so research was difficult. And then after I was injured a few years ago, I had some extra time with Google. And so I did the research and discovered there was, in fact, almost $500,000 in bullion in the mint when the Confederate government took it over. And a year later, when the Federals took the city, it was gone. So I thought, there's a story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the story, Empty Mint mystery. Yeah. Cil, do you have a question or that for either Mary or Gordon before we move on?
I don't really have a question. I am looking forward to reading Gordon's book that I'm not sure what title of it is. It's Gordon, that takes place in Alaska now.
A shooting at Auk Bay.
Oh, A Shooting in Auk Bay. I'm looking forward to reading that. And Mary Flint, how long am I going to have to wait for that follow-up on Red Star?
Hopefully it'll come out in the next few months. I'm putting the finishing touches on the editing.
Oh, that's great.
All right. I'm going to share this with you for just a moment and then comment on it. Then we'll come back and talk about something else. So here's a picture of the Readers and Writers T-shirt. Now, here's the deal. We want to have a door prize today, but this is not going to be just a free door prize you get for just showing up. You got to do something for it. But the prize is not the T-shirt, it's something else. So here's the deal. If you will send me an email and say, I want a Readers and Writers T-shirt, Readers and Writers Book Club T-shirt, and I'm willing to, and this is what you have to do to earn it. And by the way, no Author Mastermind member is eligible. So forget that. Only book club members that are not Author mastermind members. So if you'll send me the email, tell me you want the shirt, I will send you the shirt. And if you will take a picture of you in the shirt and send it to me, I'll send you a $25 gift certificate for Amazon. Is that okay? So you have to do something. The shirt's not the prize. The $25 gift certificate at Amazon is really the prize, but you have to send me a picture of you in the shirt, and we'll send you a $25 gift certificate for Amazon. So send me the email, Evan, EVAN, at publicationconsultants.com. EVAN at publicationconsultants.com. Say, I want the t-shirt. You can put in there, I'll send you a picture or whatever too, but we'll send you the t-shirt. And if you'll send me a picture of you in the t-shirt, wearing the t-shirt, I'll send you a $25 gift certificate for Amazon. And Author Mastermind members, you're not eligible, so you got to buy your own t-shirt and your own Amazon. So any club member is eligible, whether you're listening live or later. So anytime you hear this and you want to do that, why, it's your chance to get an Amazon $25 gift certificate. Okay, well, let's look at this now. Let's change hats just a little bit. So here we have 3 other books. This is the 3 books that we have selected to read next month. This is November's books. Road Trip by Valerie. Valerie's, I saw Valerie. Where did she go? Did she leave us? No, she's still here. And then I also got Freedom by Victoria Hardesty. And look at that cover. If you look real close at that cover, you don't notice it at first until you look at it, but right in the center there, that's a horse looking at you in the rocks. That's called Freedom. It's a neat story. And then, of course, Marty O'Neill's book, Into the Fire. So let's, did I see that Valerie went away, or is she still with us? Oh yeah, she's still here. Okay, Valerie, now we want to talk with you. This is the book, Road Trip with Remington Beagle. Tell us about that. We're going to all be reading it. And if you'll take yourself off mute, we'll be able to understand what you're saying.
How about that?
That's better.
Road Trip with Remington Beagle is really a travel log. It takes you from Traverse City, Michigan to Alaska, all around in Alaska, as far north as Barrow and as far south as Homer. But the unique thing about it is that my beagle wrote the book. So my beagle, Remington, tells the story about leaving Traverse and everything, all the stupid stuff we did and all we learned to love in Alaska. So it's unique. The 3rd grade in Frankfort, Michigan, their teacher, the writing was a little tough for them, so their teacher read it to them, and then they marked all the places on the map where Remington went and was talking about. So it's really for all ages. There isn't anything anybody can't read in it.
Okay, so I have a question. We should have planned this out, Valerie. Where's Remington right now?
Oh, he's probably sleeping somewhere. He's
so
13.
we can't meet Remington right now?
He's 13. I have to prime. He might be out in the garage with Dave. I sent Dave out in the garage because I didn't want him to make noise.
Okay, so when we come back the next time, we got to meet Remington.
Okay.
Remington wrote the book. That's who we want to talk with, not his secretary.
Well, there you go.
Gordon, you had a question.
Well, I do. Your book puts me in mind of another great travelogue book with the puppy, and that is Were You Influenced at All by John Steinbeck.
Love that book, Travels with Charlie.
Yes, great book. Okay. Well, then that makes me really want to read your book.
Well, how honored I am that that's where your thinking went. And I hope you still feel that way after you've read Road Trip.
Okay, well, hey, anything else that we'd like to talk about today? This has been fun. Mary?
I know Adam wasn't able to make it today, but I did want to say that I read High Rock this month, and I loved Adam's book, High Rock. I'm very particular about my fantasy, but I enjoyed the world that he built, and especially the character of High Rock and how he overcame his challenges and never gave up, I guess you could say.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you brought that up, Mary. I'd forgot about it. I was talking to one that we could see here and not to Adam. And that Book of Adams, High Rock, is an outstanding book. We've had a lot of good comments on that. And I think that Valerie and Cil both have read it. Cil, you had a comment.
Yeah, I wanted to second what Mary Flint said. I am a big fan of fantasy and sci-fi, so Mary Flint and Adam Freestone's books were of great interest to me, and he did do an excellent job of creating this fantasy world that anyone would enjoy reading. It's a great survival story too.
Yeah, I'll put that cover back up so people at home can see it. The cover is fantastic, and the artist that created that is doing some of our other covers as well, and it's just a great cover. People love that cover. Okay, well, this has been fun, been real fun. Thank you for being here. So next month, we're going to be talking about these three books then. Road Trip with Remington. Hope we have Remington here. And then we'll have Freedom with Victoria Hardesty. She'll be here for sure, she says. And Marty O'Neill, T. Martin O'Neill, and Into the Fire. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. It's been wonderful. We've really enjoyed your presence. Thank you. And as we usually end these kind of discussions, thank you and goodbye and good luck. And may the good Lord take a liking to you. And in the meantime, keep in touch.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.